Habits, they are determining who we are.
Sometimes you have this little negative voice.
The same will happen when you find a new commitment, when you want to introduce a new habit. You will have this voice all the time. That voice which you are hearing, it's our comfort zone. And when you look into the face of your fear and you're overcoming it,
That's when
you're becoming braver, stronger, more confident. Kind of, yeah, I did it. I
Exactly.
it. I
Even
tried
if it's a small task or a small goal. So hi, and welcome to Empower Beauty. My name is Nicola.
And my name is Daria.
And today we have a really interesting topic. We're talking about beauty and lifestyle habit trackers. In fact, it's so vast. There's so much we want to talk about that we've actually made it into a two-part series. So today in part one, we're actually going to explain what habit trackers are and habits that we've adopted from childhood coming into adulthood. And it's so vast, from beauty to eating to cooking to cleaning to work to financial aspect. So, do you want to get the ball rolling and tell me what you've dug up?
I would say that habits, I think it's a basic of our project, because that's what actually we are doing. We're introducing, or at least trying, to introduce more and more positive habits into our life, so we can improve our lifestyle, our life level, and eventually be happy and feeling that sense of fulfillment.
Yes, in fact, when I was doing my research, I realized that, I'm an Aquarius. So being an Aquarius, we are very free and we don't like rules and regulations, but I do love structure. And having certain habits gives me that structure. It's like a relief for my brain, not trying to remember everything and trying to keep up to date with what I need to do and what I would like to do and having time for myself. So I try to have a habit for my beauty, my hair, my skin, exercise, even my food. I like to track. I do intermittent fasting. So I eat from generally between noon and...
You decided already to jump into your...
Yeah, well, it's something I was kind of just giving you just a brief idea of, my basic habits that I try to follow. Because I have certain habits, but I'm not religious about it. I would love to be more, but sometimes, and maybe we can sort of talk about it, that you think, if I have to track certain habits, it's time consuming, which it depends how you tackle it. And I think you're going to give us more insight how you can make it more simplified.
So I would start with definition of habits in general, because habits, they are determining who we are, determining our life in general, because it's our everyday choice. You are choosing between having a salad or having potatoes or
plate of
French
spaghetti
fries.
like I did yesterday. I said, I'm going to have a salad and try to, be a bit healthier, and I ended up going for spaghetti.
Exactly. Then you are choosing to sleep longer or to wake up and go for running. And obviously, it literally determines your life. And mentioning habits, I would say that they are being formed, obviously, from the very beginning, from the moment when we are born. And we take it in an unconscious way. Let me give you an idea, because I was reflecting, preparing for this episode. Basically, I love sweets, and
I know we have that in common. We do
I
like
think
a
all
piece of cake.
girls do love sweets. But I actually decided to challenge and to question from where is this habit, because it's a habit again, from where it is coming.
But it's funny because you wouldn't think it's a habit. And I am the same as you. I realized in the last 6 months that it had become a habit, saying, I feel a bit down, and let me have a piece of cake or a chocolate to make me feel better.
Yes, and there is a root of this issue, of this problem. Obviously, when you are a child, your mom would tell you, honey, if you're doing well, if you're a good girl, I will buy you a treat or I will give you sweets. And this unconscious pattern, it remains with you during all your life. And now being, in my case, 32, in your case,
47.
in your late 40s, yes, you are behaving in the same way. you think, okay, I'm a little bit in a low mood, I'm a little bit moody, or I don't know, life is not happening how I expected.
So
I
you
should
want
give a
reward.
treat to myself.
Yes.
Yes, I need the reward. And the funny thing that you are getting more enjoyment when you are expecting to get something. Let's say when you're walking into the shop and you're imagining, oh, I will buy this one. I come home, I prepare a coffee for me, and I have this piece of cake or chocolate or whatever it is. You are actually enjoying this moment more, this anticipation, rather than the fact that you're having it. Because since the moment you buy it, you start feeling guilty. Because you are understanding that it's not working for you. It's working not in your favor. And that's the moment when we can break that pattern and challenge this habit. When you start questioning what is the consequences, what is the effect this action, this behavior has on my life.
But it's funny because, I mean, logically, I understand everything. But when you're in that zone and you really want a piece of cake or chocolate and you're feeling a bit down and you think, oh, that's just going to make me feel better. How do you fight those strong emotions? Because it is, especially for a woman, it's very emotional.
Yes, we all have these days when we want to have something.
Like I could kill if I really
extra
want.
Shopping or extra.
I mean, God help anyone who comes in my way. But then afterwards, like you said, it's like a euphoric high, but then a quick dip down.
Yes. So basically, how you can change a habit. So we reach that point when we need to work with it. It starts with awareness and recognition. The moment when you're asking, is it beneficial for you to have this habit or it's not? If you are answering no,
so you question yourself. You actually question yourself.
Yes, of course. If you're mature enough and you're able to do it, yes, you're questioning. Literally, because we are doing it on autopilot regime, subconsciously. We even don't think about it. It's
true.
So it's minimum seconds when you do these actions. But actually, you start with awareness and conscious. How does it work for me? If you understand that it's a negative habit and you are willing to change it, you need to put an effort, obviously, and you need to replace this habit with something positive. In this case, if you're talking about sweets, and we know that it gives you happiness, kind of, at least you're anticipating to get some portion of happiness from it, replace it with another habit and write a list of things which really brings you happiness. Let's say meeting with your friends, going for spa, massage, reading a book,
something
taking
that's going to be
care of
more
your skin.
Beneficial, not detrimental kind of.
Exactly. And put your effort into it and change this pattern, break this pattern. Or let's say we have another habit we want to introduce. Oh, okay.
Because I used to go, I had a phase where every time I felt a bit down, I was like, I'll go shopping, you know, and that would cheer me up. And it's, again, the same as eating a chocolate or a candy or looking for that. It's not you're having it in a social and you're enjoying it that way. It's when you're having it and you're looking for that emotional high because you're feeling not your best. The same as, you know, the same as shopping. I would either have a cake or go shopping to get that feeling of happiness, you know, which it's not the reason, it's not the right cure for that.
Yes, that's why there is a movement right now, conscious consumption. You need to be aware. Do you really need this piece of clothes? Do you really need extra pair of shoes, extra dress or whatever? Yes, there is a need. We all need to dress up, and we want to look nice every time. But you question, is it the same dress you're buying all the time? There is a logic.
Exactly. Or fast fashion, you just buy because you say it's not expensive, let me buy. No, it's better you consciously say, I'd rather buy one nice thing than have 10 mediocre just because it felt good to buy those 10 mediocre.
And again, ask yourself, why do you do it? Why do you have this need? When you are in a good mood, you don't probably go for shopping. But when you are in a bad mood, you need to give that boost. So again, just literally write a list of things which you like, which you really enjoy, and you know that you're going to benefit from it. And in the moment when you're not feeling well, check it and change it. Okay. So introduce this new pattern.
It's a good advice. I'm going to try it. I mean, I think, like you said, the first thing is to be aware of it.
Yes, and make an intention to change it.
Yes.
and then make a plan.
Yes.
Because let's say we want to start running. And what we need to do, obviously we need to prepare for this action. Basically, you need to have shoes, comfortable shoes, suitable for running. You need to have clothes. You need to know where you are going to run to build your route. And ideally, because I like running with my music, so download the playlist which you're going to listen. Literally visualize this picture. When you wake up, at what time you wake up, what you're going to do next. And try to see what kind of challenges you might face, which might stop you from doing it. Let's say you discover that you don't have comfortable shoes. Just go and buy and prepare for it. Or you discover that, and you know that you are not a committed person. Maybe you want to do it, but you know for sure you will not wake up. Yes.
So I hate running, and I'm not sort of the most athletic person, but I know we need it for our body. So I decided to get a private instructor, and I've had him for 6 years, because I know whether I feel like it or not, he's there waiting for me twice a week.
Exactly, that's what I was going to mention.
If like you're not motivated enough to do it on your own, either join a gym, find a partner to go to do some form of activity, have some call of action, and also something that you have to do it, a commitment. You've made a commitment that you can't just switch off your alarm and say, oh no, I'll skip it today, I'll go tomorrow.
Yes, you can ask your friend to be accountable too. Like, look, I'm going for a run, and I know I will feel guilty if I don't do it. And you ask me, like, did you go for a run? So involve your family, involve your friends, or stick to a running club, or find a gym trainer or whatever. If you
find
know
a link that will force you or encourage you, and force you is probably the wrong word, but that will encourage you to make sure that you follow through this action.
That's what I'm calling a challenge. So that's your challenge, and you know that you're not committed enough. So find a way how to overcome it, and obviously make a plan. Because if it's not in your calendar, if it's not exact time and date and even timing, how long you're going to do it. You might go for a run for 15 minutes, or you might go for an hour and a half, and put it into calendar. Since it's there, you know that you're not going to do.
You can't ignore it.
Yes, you can't ignore it.
You have to face it.
Yes. And try to make it in a nice way. So in my case, I bought really good shoes, good clothes. I listen my favorite music. I mean, I'm enjoying it. And when I see people who are struggling with running, and literally, like you see miserable, unfortunately, faces, you think, I'm asking, why do you do it? Why are you so unfriendly with yourself and with your body? Why don't you enjoy it?
But I would say, speaking for someone who's been forced, or not been forced, encouraged by my instructor.
But still I admire that they are running.
I find it so boring. I think running's not for everyone. I think you're either a runner or you're not.
Yes, it's just an example, of course. You know, there might be another habit.
But I know how beneficial it is to the body, but I think it doesn't have to be running. I think just
be walking.
Yes, some kind of activity. Get your body moving, whatever your weight, your age is.
Just discover what you're enjoying the most.
Just know that you are nourishing your body, and you have to move it. You know, to keep it young and subtle, you have to either walk, if you can jog, if you can run, Pilates, yoga, a class, spinning, instructor. Just
now we're surrounded by sea, so we can do a lot of activities.
Exactly, we live in Malta, so we're lucky to go swimming.
Last year I introduced yoga on a CP to my life. I really enjoyed it.
And what is that?
So it's a SUP, which is stand-up paddle, inflatable in my case, and first of all, you need to have a balance just to stand up.
Yes, I've done it once. Exactly. We had a girls' afternoon, and someone went. I think it's called paddleboarding.
Maybe.
It was so difficult to stay up. You really need a strong core.
Yeah,
and it was really funny. Some of us, we were I think 8. Some could do it effortlessly, and there was 2 or 3 of us. We kept falling. It's like, but what superpower do you have that we can't stand up?
Believe into themselves, probably.
Maybe,
That's another positive habit, believing into yourself and having a positive self-talk, because that's a habit as well. The way how you're talking to yourself, the way how you're treating yourself, what kind of messages you are telling yourself
I
every
think this
morning.
is for every human being,
Exactly.
even from a young age. It's like, how do you view yourself? You know, and I see that. I have a teenage son who's 12, and I see it from such a young age. Even my daughter, I see how she views herself as well, and even myself, how sometimes you have this little negative voice whispering in your
Sometimes
ears.
it's there all the time.
Yes, and then you know that it doesn't mean it. You know that these words are not true, or you just think, but where's this coming from? Even though it creeps in.
I can explain it, and the same will happen when you find a new commitment, when you want to introduce a new habit. You will have this voice all the time. Why? Because when we do everything, our daily routine, we are performing on literally autopilot. We are not challenging, we are not questioning, we are just doing it, kind of saving our resources for something more important. And that voice which you are hearing, it's our comfort zone. Because it's telling you, don't go out of comfort zone. We are here, we are settled,
We know this place,
everything is under control.
even if it's a bad place.
Yes, exactly. That's the voice which forces you to keep the things, the same level of all these endorphins, hormones, etc., the same level of it, because that's an objective of our body, to have that sustainability or smooth functioning. And obviously, when you start to introduce changes, you will notice that you are changing, your body is changing, even your environment and people with whom you're communicating changing as well. So that's positive and negative consequences of introducing a new habit.
Yes, and it's true, because it's sometimes that little voice, you could be fine, and then suddenly this rush of fear would come inside you. You know, when you have, I don't know, maybe new adventures or certain activities that might be new to you, and you think, but where did that fear come from? I was happy a minute ago.
Yes. Ask yourself from what it's trying to protect you. Because obviously we all have this instinct of self-saving, self-protection. And if you're introducing something new, your brain is challenging and questioning and asking, is it safe for us? Yes. So you need to tell him, that's why you need to be a friend with yourself, first of all, and have that good relationship with yourself, that you need to tell, yes, everything is under control. I'm doing it in favor.
Relax.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes, exactly.
Go and take a seat.
We are going to benefit from it. Because we think that habits, they're not that important right now, maybe, like we are smoking or we are drinking, kind of, it's okay, I can afford it. I'm talking in general, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but some people might think, it's Friday evening, I can go out, I can relax a little bit, but you're not thinking how big this, how accumulative effect these habits have, because you're doing it once, you're doing it twice, but in the end of the year, imagine how many times you went out, how many glasses of wine you had, how many cigarettes you smoked, and what kind of effect it has on you and quality of your life. And the same with introducing new habits. Maybe you start, if you want to start learning a new language, start it, I don't know, 5-10 minutes per day. Exactly. But then again, at the end of the year, you will learn new language.
You could have a basic knowledge, yes. I mean, if you wanted to see more of a tangible situation, it's like if you had a piggy bank, a money jar, and you put €1 a day. At first you think, what's €1? But it will add up, you know. At the end of the year, you have €365, you know.
Exactly.
So that's a more visual way to see it. The same as, like you said, if you go walking every day, I mean, by the end of the year, you would be fit. Your heart would be better. You know, you would be classified as quite a fit person.
To give you a tangible results of walking, for example, last year, you know, I walked 500 kilometers Camino. It took me 18 days with backpack, 10 kilograms, and I returned plus 2.5 kilograms. But it's not extra weight; it's muscle weight.
Oh, wow.
So just 18 days. During 18 days, you can build 2.5 kilograms
of muscles.
Of muscles.
Pure muscle.
Yes, can you imagine?
But walking 18 days, how many kilometers a day?
30.
30 kilometers a day for 18 days.
Yes.
Wow.
But it's a beautiful journey. Maybe one day we can record whole episode about it. Yes. But again, all journey starts with the first step, with intention, with decision, with plan. From where you want to start, how you're going to walk, and with overcoming challenges, because obviously I had a lot of challenges like pain, then this back thoughts, what are you doing here? You're walking under this heat, it might be dangerous or whatever. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, it's heavy. So you have a lot of these, but then you calm down. I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going.
And you kind of have to tell yourself, I chose to do this.
Yes,
this was my choice, you know, and like you're not putting yourself in danger. You challenged yourself and you wanted to be challenged.
Exactly, yes.
So it's like you have to...
Yeah, I think you mentioned a very good word. It's a choice. Because some people might think, and we are going to mention a few habits which we advise to reduce, but it doesn't mean that you need to overload yourself.
Yes.
To do everything what you will hear from this episode. Just choose what works for you, what you really want to introduce into your life, what kind of better person you want to be, because it doesn't mean that you need to start walking, running, boxing, swimming,
cut out cakes, stop shopping, or read a book once a week, or, you know, there's so many. It's more sort of giving you a tangible solution or advice that if you have certain things missing in your life, and we all want to progress and evolve, you know, that I can give you a whole list of things that I want to do, but I keep saying I don't have time, or probably I don't have time. But if I made that 1 or 2 step changes, I can have that time, which that's what we kind of want to share, that it just takes 1 or 2 different habits to change and do what you want to do, what you secretly want or desire to do. In fact, on that note, I have a couple of apps that you can download, like I can recommend.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so basically,
us.
I mean, you can do the usual things. I know that you love to journal. So journaling is a good way of creating a habit tracker, because you can write down your feelings, your emotions, your wishes and your dreams. You can get a planner to break down what you want to do on a weekly or day-by-day plan. And even a digital tracker is great. So we have a few to choose from. So
basically now we are talking about tracking our habits.
Yes, I mean, like we want to give tangible solutions. I started journaling, and unfortunately I don't do it more than once or once a week or every fortnight, just because I find when I want to journal, I have to be in the zone. I can't just force myself to do it. And when I am in the zone, I can write like 4 or 5 pages.
So you're encouraging people to write down habits which they would like to introduce, and then start journaling and reflecting kind of what they've done during the day or not.
Yes.
Checking whether they're following their commitments.
Exactly. So it's like you have, you write what you want to achieve with this habit, and then you can journal and express how it made you feel. You know, if you're that kind of person that you want to see you're more in tune with your emotions.
Sorry for interrupting you. Do you want on this note we just go through kind of negative habits before we jump into positive habits? Yeah?
Yes, of course.
Yeah? I just need to have a look. Some notes. But I think most common negative habits, let's say. Negative, we are saying because they have negative effect on our life. Would be procrastination, maybe. Overthinking. What else? What can, before I jump into my list?
Those are 2 things that I can relate to. Procrastination, I think I'm the most easily sidetracked person. I can start doing a job, and then something will just get my attention. I think, okay, let me go and do that for 5 minutes, and then I'll come back.
Typical women.
Oh my God, I never realized how much I do it until I've made myself aware or been in certain situations that I really need to sit down. I've always been a hands-on person, being a makeup artist for 20 years. When I'm doing a makeup, that's probably the only time that I could be an hour, 2 hours focused. And that's because I'm physically doing something. But if I have to sit down, write a blog or a script, I get sidetracked, you know, and I'll procrastinate or leave it to the very last minute, even though I keep saying, next time I will not leave it to the last minute, but I do it again. So I
In
can
this case,
understand.
you might be very good at multitasking.
Yes, I'm a perfect multitasker. I've had to be. I think all
So maybe
mums.
that's the reason why you easily.
Yes, I mean, I
sidetrack.
can do 10 things at the same time, but I would love to learn now to learn to focus. So maybe my habit tracker would have to be learn to focus. Like I'll track my focus habits and I'll give myself maybe little time scales. So I'll say for 10 minutes, that's all I'm going to focus on the task in hand, and then see how I manage what distracted me, or so I
Yeah,
can.
that's a good way of introducing this habit, to start being aware where your focus is shifting from the main task which you set for yourself. Yes, amazing. So I think we already started talking about negative habits such as smoking, alcohol, or smoking and drinking alcohol. Then there is a nail biting negative habit.
I've never got that one.
Childish thing, but some people do
No, some
it.
people still do
Yes.
it even as adults.
Then excessive screen time,
Yes,
or
that's it.
checking your phone or social media all the time. It's a habit as well, and it's really unconscious habit. I have my notifications off, but I'm checking all the time,
Yes.
trying to be in tune with what's happening in my messages or my plan. So I follow it, but it's a negative habit.
Yes, I think the whole world is obsessed with
Exactly.
gadgets, social media, and it's something that we really need to be aware about, because I mean, I get on my phone, I don't know if you have as well, like it will tell me by every week like how much screen time I have.
Oh my God, it's how many
And-
hours you're spending?
Not that much.
No, how many?
Probably 2 hours a day, 2.5 hours a day,
In my case,
give or
it's
take.
8 hours
A day?
screen time. Yeah.
Wow, no. See, you have to. That's your
But
next.
I live on my phone. I'm taking notes. I'm reading. I'm working. Everything is here. That's really my life. Then we have emotional eating, which we already kind of touched
yes.
on.
And I think that comes mostly, I mean, sorry mums, but it comes a lot from mummies, like I had it from my mum, sort of, she would say, oh, let's have something yummy, or you've done really well, have, a chocolate, and I used to do it to my children when they're younger, because first of all, it's ingrained in us how we reward our children. And then from sweets, because then I became so conscious about their teeth, it came with a little gift. So it's like, oh, you've passed your exam, let's buy you something. Or you've, I don't know, achieved some kind of rewards at school or
Let's
with
go
your
to a
children.
shop and you
yes,
choose what you
exactly. So now I'm trying to change that, but it's different. It's difficult because what do you change it with? We're so programmed with society starting from children. And like you said, then when we get older, we do it to ourselves. Like if I'm feeling, I don't know, I've achieved something, oh, let's go and buy myself something,
yes,
Like I buy myself a birthday present every year. So
nice.
it's like, it's my kind of rewards for myself.
Yes.
And I see that as a positive, but then you have to say, you have to know that it's a positive. You're doing it with a positive intention.
Replying to your question with what you can replace it reward instead of using sweets or gifts or whatever. There is a very good book. It's called 5 Languages of Love. And basically it explains the way how we translate or express our love. And gifts, presents, in just one of the languages, which we get used to the most, let's say. Then what we have, hugs or physical sensations, right? You can just tell your son, your daughter, come and I hug you. So like this, you're already showing
In fact,
your
I
love.
tell them hugs are for free. I
Amazing.
always tell them
Yes,
hugs are for free, let's hug.
Then your quality time, when you're really present with your children, without using phones, without any work distractions or whatever.
Unfortunately, I think for most parents, that's the hardest.
And gifts are the easiest way.
Yes, unfortunately. We live such a busy lifestyle. To really be 100% present, I think is the hardest out of all three to do.
But imagine how much your children would appreciate if you take them to play on the playground or organize a picnic or whatever.
You get their reaction immediately when you do it, like when I say, okay, I'm not going to look at my phone, I'm not going to work, because that's a new thing now. It's like, oh, you're always working. So, and because I work from my phone like you, so it's like you can't just ignore certain things. But I would put everything down and say, I am yours, totally yours, for 15 minutes. What do you want to do? And I'm saying sporadically throughout the day, not that's all I give them time.
Yes, sure,
but
yes.
you do have to kind of even maybe put that in a habit tracker. Track that you say, I will give my children this amount of time, or do this activity, do a puzzle, painting, drawing, whatever they like to do.
Yes.
To try to balance your life.
That's a good idea, yes. So time, attention, and obviously words. You can express your love by words, and it's very important for children, for everyone, I think, even for our friends, for our loved one, to hear that we appreciate their presence in our life.
Yes, that's
because
very
we are
true.
ignoring and missing it. And it's a habit as well to suppress your emotions, not to express your emotions, because we are afraid to be vulnerable. If I tell, I really love you, I appreciate your presence in my life, I might think that one day you can use it against me.
Oh, how sad for people to think that way. I mean, I think also it depends on the character. I'm very open, I'm very affectionate. I'm not scared to tell anyone that I feel that I care about them, to say I care about them, care about you. But it's true, there's not a lot of people who are willing to make themselves that vulnerable. I think it's all in your mind, and maybe how you were, situations you were faced when you were younger.
Again, the situation in your family, exactly. If it was a norm to say it, to express it, it will become your norm as well. It will become your habit. But if you was lacking of it, then we tend to hold our emotions back. Yes.
Yeah, it's all about trying to balance your vulnerability.
Mentioning emotions, recently I watched a very good film, and I strongly recommend you. It's called Angel A, or Angela, kind of. It's about, again, it represents very well how much we're afraid to express our emotions and to show that we love, that they're using a very strong psychological tool. So a person, kind of angel, a woman, bring a person whom she's trying to help in front of the mirror and forcing him to tell, look at this mirror and tell, I really love you, I love you. And he didn't manage to do it from the first attempt.
To himself?
To himself, yes. Then she's telling, tell me that you love me. And when he's looking at the mirror and he's telling, I love you, Angela.
Well, so he could say it to her, but not
to her, because he really had strong feelings with her, but he couldn't tell I love you looking at himself. So then third attempt, slowly overcoming a lot of internal barriers, I would say, he said it. I love you. And started crying.
I can imagine, because it must have opened so many wounds for him. In fact, there's like a positive affirmation that you have to actually do your affirmations in front of the mirror.
Yes.
So you're looking at yourself and you're reflecting it, saying, it's because sometimes it's easier to say, I wish to be healthy and I wish to be happy, but to look into the mirror and be one with yourself and say these things that I am proud of myself. I am strong. I am capable. I am, beautiful. I am worthy. It's another good habit.
Yes. She has a book, something like 21 Days of Loving Yourself or whatever, advises you to look at the mirror in the morning during 21 days and
say it every day.
Say the words which you would like to hear from your parents maybe, or from your friends, from your colleagues, from your environment, husband, exactly. Something what we are missing, something what doesn't allow us to feel fulfilled.
That's a good idea, actually, because sometimes I think we have so many expectations, between our spouse, family members, even children sometimes, and friends and work colleagues even. Maybe I think it's a good idea to practice. I might practice it myself, that you write a certain list that you expect from each individual and say it to yourself. And I think then that will take off that pressure from everyone else.
Yes, so give yourself what you're missing.
What you're missing.
Exactly.
That's amazing. I love that piece of advice.
Okay, good. So shall we carry on with another negative habits example? Okay, we said expensive spending. We mentioned it. Then procrastination, negative self-talk, self-criticism, oversleeping, chronic lateness.
Lately, I've been very late. Only 10 minutes, but still, I hate...
It's a habit which you are kind of explaining to yourself, it's okay, I'm always late, but...
No, honestly, as someone who has a tendency to be a bit late, it's not true. I think you underestimate the time. You just think, oh, it's time's on your side.
You're trying to fill in everything.
Yes, I'm one person who lives like 5 lives, I feel, you know. So most of the time I underestimate the time, and I think, oh no, I managed to do this just before I go, and I'll do this. It's something I used to fight with my husband all the time, because he always used to tell me, we're always late everywhere we go, and you know, you have to do this the last minute, and you have to do that. So
planning, good
planning, yeah. So for all you laters out there, it's not really our fault sometimes. We have to change our bad habits.
Yes. So let's carry on. Then we have excessive sugar consumption, which we already mentioned, chronic disorganization. Some of us, we say we have creative or artistic chaos in our lives, but actually it's not a good energy.
No, that
so we really need
nuts.
to put things in order everywhere, at home, in your business, in your laptop, phone, clothes, makeup stuff, whatever, even relationship, everything has to be in order to function properly, because if you have somewhere these gaps,
I mean, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably one of my pros is I'm a very organized person, but still I still go home and I think I need to still organize this, I still need to organize that. I never feel that I'm 100% organized, even though maybe a third-party person could come in and say, wow, you're so organized, you know. But I think it's a work in progress. If you work at it and you don't realize that, for me, mentally, I feel happy when I see, you know, like the clothes are all organized, and my diary, I've done most of my to-do list. But it's like, maybe don't have the perception that you're going to be, you know, sort of everything perfect, because that's unrealistic. That's
it's not about perfection. It's at least keeping things up to standard, your standards. Your
standard, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the most important. It has to be up to your standard or close to.
Yes.
Because sometimes perfectionism doesn't exist. So if you have a list of 10 things and you've done 7, give yourself a round of applause. That's a good day, you know.
And
if you've done 2, then you think, okay, tomorrow I need to work better at it.
Okay, so I have a lot of negative habits.
Okay.
So like these guys, you can check and recognize what kind of habits you have and what you want to change.
Exactly.
So negative gossiping.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of those, unfortunately.
You know what they say? Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. So I'm pretty sure all of us, we want to be great minds and discuss ideas rather than people. Then overworking, it's a negative habit as well, considered to be. Emotional avoidance, we mentioned, when you don't express your emotions, or you don't know how to tackle people's emotions and you are trying to ignore it completely. If someone is telling you I love you and you start hiding your head, it's a habit as well.
You need to work on that.
Yes, so excessive junk food consumption. McDonald's, for example.
Wait, do you know, I've never liked McDonald's. Never. And I swear, I'm not lying. It's true. I've never liked McDonald's. So,
you know what happened? Last time I was in McDonald's, more than 2.5 years ago, I remember this day, and every time when I go there, I can then take only cheeseburger without meat, because I don't eat meat. So every time when I do a bite, I start feeling dizzy, because my brain receptors, they're experiencing sensations which they never experienced before, and it might become addiction.
Like a
completely high. Like,
oh my God, maybe that's what my daughter feels, because she's obsessed with McDonald's. And I tell her we have it once or twice a month. And like after she would have had it, 2-3 days later, has a month passed? I'm like, no, it's been 2-3 days, you know. So maybe she feels this euphoric high that you're feeling.
And that's the moment when habit is being formed. When you know that I want to repeat it, I like it, I experienced it, and I want to keep repeating it, of course, and it's a habit being formed. Or you say, I liked it, but I know that it's not going to work for me. Every time when I go to McDonald's, I have to make up for it 2-3 times running, kind of. So here's the moment when you can
Identify it, whether it's becoming a good or bad habit.
Yes, and you can change direction to positive or to negative.
Okay, that's a good advice, because sometimes you do things in autopilot or without any thought.
Yes.
And it's a good idea that when you're doing something that you know maybe is not the ideal choice, you can say, do I take it as this is a one-off? I did it, but be aware that I must not make this a habit.
Yes, definitely. Then what we have, people pleasing. It's a habit as well. Every time when you say yes to someone who's asking you to make a favor, that's a habit. Or I know my mom, for example, every time when I'm offering something new, her immediate reaction, no, I can't do it. No, I'm afraid. No, I don't have time. Like, Mom, come on, why every time you are taking it in a kind of defensive, you are taking defensive position. And she started challenging it. And every time now when I'm telling her, let's do this, or let's go, or let's organize something, she was like, I should think about it.
She started to question herself.
Yes,
That's amazing. That's really good. That shows that you are waking her up, so to speak.
Last time when she was staying with me, she kept saying all the time, I'm afraid of swimming, I'm afraid of going and speaking to people because I don't know language or whatever, a lot of fears. I told her, every time when you're telling me I'm afraid, you're going to do sit-ups. In the end of the day, she did it like 10 sit-ups. And next day she changed completely and she said, I'm brave enough, I'm going to do shopping myself.
My abs can't take anymore. It's better I just face my fear.
So it's really about being conscious, how you're responding. Every time you're saying yes or you're saying no, you are open for opportunities or you take it negatively as something which might interrupt your comfort zone.
Funny, you just, because I know someone who sometimes has a fear of going out.
Oh, okay.
And they know it's not right. There's no reason not to go out, but they can't help that feeling, and
like social phobia, or I think
a little bit, but not to the extent that they have to go and seek, medical advice. But they will have that bit of a social anxiety for no reason. And it can be even sometimes just...
It might be a pattern in the past, an experience, a fact that happened in the past. Maybe this person was in a crowd place and something extraordinary happened. This person didn't feel safe. So now, obviously, unconsciously, this person is trying to avoid this situation, to repeat. He or she doesn't want to repeat the situation unconsciously again. So here it has to be a question, this fear, from what it's trying to protect you. Of course, maybe you don't want to repeat the same situation, or maybe you're afraid to face something which you never faced before, but the possibility that you face it is minimum. Like something wrong might happen to me if I go out after 10 p.m., let's say. Yes, it might, and there is a rational risk, but at the same time, come on, we are living in a kind of safe country.
No, it's more, I think, just, like you said, a bit of social anxiety. But the reason I mentioned it, that sometimes when you have certain fears, it's a good idea to question yourself. Which
yes, of course.
Most of the time we don't. It's good to question yourself and say, but really, what's going to happen? Okay, I go out, I do what I need to do, and that social anxiety will slowly calm down when I realize there's nothing to be scared of.
And when you look into the face of your fear and you're overcoming it,
that's when
you're becoming braver, stronger, more confident. Kind of, I did it. I managed. I tried it.
Even if it's a small task or a small goal, the feel-good factor that you get from achieving certain little milestones, these are the things that we have to celebrate daily. And then we can do our affirmations in the mirror and said, I faced this fear, even though it might not be big for you, could have been big for me.
Exactly.
So what other bad habits do we have?
Did I mention overthinking?
Oh, I'm the queen of overthinking.
Really, do you?
Yes, my goodness. I overthink a lot. I'm learning, but like you said, once you acknowledge that you have certain faults that are not benefiting you, Because sometimes it is good to overthink certain situations because you kind of lay your cards on the table. You think, okay, certain scenarios can happen. I prepare myself mentally and emotionally for each situation, whatever happens.
Such a rational approach.
Yes, I am a bit rational. But then you can overthink that it becomes to your detriment, that you don't have control on another person. You don't have control on an environmental situation, that worrying about it is not going to give you the answer. So,
you know what's good solution? We discovered it together with my girls on previous breakfasts, Empowering Women event breakfasts, which I organized. So one of the girls, she admitted that she is experiencing overthinking a lot. And she said, I decided to give myself a deadline, let's say 24 hours. If I don't do it within 24 hours, it means I never do it. Like, I completely forget about this, about intention, idea, or plan, or whatever. If I know that I strongly want to do it, I do it now or never, within 24 hours. So in it, you can give obviously yourself a bigger deadline if you're facing more global choices.
or like a problem comes into your life and you don't have control over that problem. It's pointless overthinking it. You try to... What I've noticed, I think that it's helped me, that if a problem comes in my life and it's something you can't ignore, you have to tackle, I give myself and this is I don't know why I saw it, but I would give myself 1 hour to think about it.
Okay.
Then I would let all that emotion come out. Then that's it. After that hour, I've done it. I've thought about it. Whatever solutions will come naturally, but I'm not going to make myself ill overthinking about it, because kind of the universe will lead you in its direction as you want it wants you to go. So I give myself 1 hour to think about a problem, and then I let it go.
I think the most important here is that you eliminate your emotions. Because when we are influenced by our emotions, we are not going to make,
it's difficult if you're an emotionally led person to...
There is a difference between emotions and gut feelings and intuitions. When you are in emotional state, you won't be able to hear your intuition.
No, that's true. That's very, very true.
So that's why you need to let it down, calm down, maybe meditate, breathe.
That's why it's good to have that 1 hour.
Or maybe one day, because
but the thing is, one day is a long day to live at that high alert feeling, especially if you're a very emotional person. That's a stress on the body. You give yourself 1 hour to feel all what you feel, and then you say, even time yourself. Then you say, that's it. I've got to let it happen how it's going to happen,
Okay. I think actually those are the negative habits which I wanted to mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just to pick up from where I left off earlier, saying about journaling, doing a planner, even doing a digital habit tracker. So I checked there's quite a few apps that you can download. So it depends on what kind of person you are. I would say journaling is very great if you like to get in touch with your emotions.
That's my favorite.
Yes, it's your favorite. And I can see why you love it. I just wish I had more time to go into that zone, because I think it is something that it's between you and yourself. So it's a nice way to connect. And I am a diary writer, like some people like to have, a digital diary. I like the old-fashioned. I like to have my book and I write it down and I tick at the end of the day. And I'm a list maker. I like to do a lot of lists. That helps me, track what I need to stay organized and track my life. And so the apps that I came, there's Habitify, which is a habit tracker and goal. Habit Tracker, which is you can plan your day, and Daily Habit Tracker, which is an all-in-one. So you can track your lifestyle, as in like running, exercise, maybe doing treatments, like your beauty regime and things like that, or eating. Like I was mentioning before, I like to do intermittent fasting. So I have subconsciously in my mind, I eat between either 12 and 8 or 1 and 9.
Let's go into it deeper in the next episode.
Yes. As we told you, this is a 2-part episode. It's such a vast topic, and it's. I hope we've sort of given you some good information. The next episode, we're going to give you more tangible solutions. So I will be going into the beauty aspects, talking about skincare, sleeping, eating, water, all the, hair advice. These are all beautifying things that we should try to implement in our daily life.
And I will jump into personal development and personal growth habits.
Yes. So we look forward to seeing you for the part 2 episode. We will see you soon. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, hit your notification button. Please join our community. You can find us on social media as well. And we'll catch you next time. Lots of love. Bye.